Hello everyone, my name is Tia, not Tija, not Tyja, just Tia, and today I am going to be talking about the injustices that have been going on in our world today. It started up again because this has been going on for years, but it started up again during this pandemic with the brutal murder of Ahmaud Arbery, and then we were made aware of Breonna Taylor. This has all come to a head with the brutal murder of George Floyd. I made this video yesterday, but I didn't feel like my intro was as passionate as I wanted it to be. So I'm making this right now because I want you guys to understand how upset I am. People have been protesting because they feel like they have not been heard. Do you know what it feels like to feel like your life is not valued and that you could be murdered at any time just because of the color of your skin? These protests are justified, and honestly, I do not condemn the riots that have come about this, because a riot is the language of the unheard. We have not felt like we have been heard. So today I wanted to make a video for the people who won't be able to go out and protest for any reason at all. Maybe you don't feel safe going out to protest. Maybe you have a pre-existing condition, because COVID-19 is absolutely still out there right now. COVID-19 is still a real thing, but now they are threatening our lives. So we have to go out and protest so our voice can be heard. So I'm making this video for those people who need help figuring out how to cope with all this trauma. I also wanted to provide resources for people who can't actually go out and be on the ground. Right now, Black people, we're watching our brothers and sisters being murdered on the street, and it's traumatizing. So I wanted to put together a few mental health tips that would allow us to cope with what's going on. Now, I know my platform is not huge, but I know that people do listen to me. And so I'm using whatever platform I have to get this message out. So I've broken this video down into two parts. One section is how to cope, and the other section is how to help. In the how to cope section, I broke that down even further into 5 different points. So the first point is take a break from social media. We have access to information 24/7, and right now it is going to be very hard for us to want to peel away from the screen, because it feels like we're going to miss information if we're away for even a minute. I'm telling you right now, you do not have to re-traumatize yourself watching these videos, watching people getting attacked by the police, abused by the police. You don't have to continue to do that. Take a break from social media. If that for you means you turn your entire phone off, then so be it. Maybe you just want to delete the apps. That is fine too. But if you do not want to be so disconnected, I suggest taking some time out of your day and completely unplugging. No laptops, no phones, nothing that will connect you to social media, because you deserve to be able to unwind. You do not have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders like this. Prioritize your mental and physical health first, and do things that you love. That brings me into my next point. Take some time to actually do the things that you enjoy doing. Recently, I just picked up knitting. Honestly, it's very cathartic. Knitting has been such a cathartic release for me. For you, maybe it isn't knitting. Maybe it's sitting out in nature, or playing soccer, or double dutch, learn a new skill. Just something that will get your mind off of what is going on so that you can focus on yourself. Whatever is going to bring you peace, do it. And another thing, don't feel like you have to rush into doing something just because you feel like if you're not doing something that you're not being productive or you're wasting time. If anything, defer back to the first point. Take a break. Just take a break. A break does not have to mean you're gonna go cook all the meals in your house for a week. If that's what that is for you, then that's fine. But if it's not, if you just want to sit on your bed and stare at the ceiling, that is fine too. You are allowed to grieve and mourn the way you need to right now. I'm sorry, this sun is really, really fueling me right now. I'm getting all the energy I need from this sun. And I have to laugh because I have the joy of the Lord in me, and that's the only way that I can get through this. That brings me to my next point, actually. Pray or meditate. If you are a praying person, this is the best time to pray. If you are not necessarily religious or spiritual, still you need to take some time to center yourself and bring yourself back down to the ground, because right now we're taking on the energy of the entire world. We are taking on the energy of every single person, every single experience that is going on right now. Black people are empaths. We feel very deeply and we're forgiving. So seeing these brutalities done against us over and over again is going to be very draining, very exhausting. So meditate, pray, use this time to deepen yourself in your spirituality, in your religion, whatever it is that brings you back down to earth. And then during this time, it's going to be very important for you to surround yourself with support. This is a little bit more difficult because we are in the middle of a pandemic right now. All I can say is, at this point, if you're comfortable enough and if you're being safe, then it's going to be okay for you to gather in person, because dealing with what we're dealing with requires a lot of love and a lot of affection and a lot of gratitude. If you have a Bible study group, now would be a good time to commune with them and talk about what's going on. If not, create a safe space so that you guys can vent, so that people can vent and feel comfortable and feel like they're not alone. This is a very isolating time because of COVID-19, but it's even more isolating because it feels like any of these things can happen to us at any time. So make sure you find your support system and convene. Now is the time that we need to be showing our gratitude and our love. But most importantly, now is the time to just let it all out. Allow yourself to feel the pain, the anguish, the sadness, the anger that you may be feeling right now. Too often, our reaction is to hold in whatever we're feeling, because we've been trained to believe that anger and sadness are negative emotions that should be suppressed and held down. I encourage you today to feel your feelings out loud, but don't let them control you. Write, scream, cry, break down, laugh, dance, sing, whatever it is you need to do to get it out, do it. Because, like I said, we are feeling a lot right now, and you, just as much as anybody else, deserve to feel. So my second section is how to help. This is for people who are watching what's going on and don't know at all how to approach this, how to actually feel in the midst of this. I broke this down into 5 sections as well. If you have it in you to go out and physically protest, I absolutely encourage it. Do whatever you need to do to feel like you are being heard. You deserve to be heard. But if you don't have it in you, if for whatever reason you cannot or do not want to go outside for any reason, because remember, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. People are still being exposed to this virus. If you do not want to go outside for any reason at all, there's still ways for you to protest. Boycott companies that do not align with your personal beliefs and goals, and then take that money you were going to spend and spend it in a Black-owned business. I promise you, you will not be upset. You will not be disappointed. Right now, I have linked in the description a Twitter link that has a pretty extensive list of Black-owned businesses that are alternatives to your faves, but that list is not in any way comprehensive. There are thousands of other Black-owned businesses that you can go and support. You can sign a petition or make a phone call. This may feel small in comparison to what people are doing on the ground, but this is absolutely crucial. Make a phone call to your senator's office, your police station, to people in places of power, anyone you can get in contact with, because your voice, there's plenty of ways for your voice to be heard, and this is one of them. I saw an example on Twitter of a guy that got detained by the police and he was missing. His mother couldn't get in contact with him for anything, and the people came together and started calling the police station. They finally found him and they finally brought him home to his family. That is just one example of how a phone call can make a difference. Make a donation. Again, this may feel like it pales in comparison to being on the ground and protesting, but there is so much power in the dollar. Put your money behind the causes that you believe in. And right now, this may feel like it's kind of hard to ask because we're in the middle of a pandemic, but every single dollar counts. You can donate $1. Don't be ashamed for donating $1, because where you donate $1, 2,500 people are also donating $1, and it adds up very quickly. Do your research. You're going to have to take everything with a grain of salt, but Twitter has been a very good source for firsthand accounts of what is actually going on the ground. However, social media should not be your only source of information. Find reputable news outlets that you can trust and do your own research. Do not rely on what other people say to be your only source of information, because it's very easy to misrepresent what is actually going on. And we've seen this plenty of times on Instagram and Twitter. Keep your eyes open and be sure to fact check, because fact checking is going to be crucial for keeping history straight. And the last thing that I'm going to say today is vote. Vote, 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 vote. Don't let anyone tell you that voting doesn't matter and that voting is a waste of time, because they are just trying to trick you into forfeiting your ability to have your voice heard. People who do not care about you will then be voted into office, and the cycle will be perpetuated. Put people into places of power that have your best interest at heart, but not just your best interest, the people's best interest. Don't vote people in that only care about the status quo, because that has not gotten us anywhere to this point. As you can see, we've had to have entire riots, entire protests. All 50 states have had protests. When have all 50 states ever done anything together? This is obviously what the people want to voice, but people in power are not listening to us. So vote, because you have the ability to put them in those places. I'm not talking about general election or anything like that. Primaries, city council seats, mayoral elections, all of those are important to ensuring that we have people in places that actually care about us. Yesterday, we had several primaries going on, and throughout the month of June, there are going to be even more primaries happening. So make sure that you're registered in your state and you go out and vote. If you are in another state, but you're a resident of one state, make sure that you apply for your absentee ballots as soon as possible so that you can vote and have your voice heard. I'm just going to end this by saying thank you so much to the people who have gone out and protested, and the people who have not let this go under the rug. There have been injustices going on in this world, and we deserve to have our voices heard. We deserve to feel like we are safe and we have a say in this world, to feel like we can just walk the streets and live without being targeted. Black people, I love you. Black woman, I love you. Black man, I love you. You are valued. You deserve life. Go out and say what you need to say. Go out and express yourself. And to the allies, thank you for being allies. Use your voice. Use your privilege to get us all to that next step. Sorry, I just went in. I had energy today. All I can do is laugh. All I can do is be happy because I have the joy of the Lord in my heart. And I'm not going to let anything that's going on in this world take away my joy. Okay? Okay. So if you enjoyed this video, if it helped you in any way, go ahead and like and subscribe. And I'll see you next video.